And here they come, the Königsberger Klopse. Servus and welcome to Flo's German Kitchen. I'm Flo, this is my kitchen, and I show you how to cook the German way. Today we're making a northeast German classic Königsberger Klopse. What is it in English? I don't know. It's kind of a dumpling meatball made of veal. It's got some very strange ingredients also. And I've never done it before I started preparing for this video, and I had to make a couple of attempts. Some of them weren't so successful, but now I found my recipe where I think that's gonna be delicious. And as I said, it's got some weird things, some weird ingredients apart from the veal, the ground veal. We've got anchovies, yes, we've got capers, parsley, mustard, an old bread roll, an onion, lemon, some spices, 2 eggs, milk, and of course a good guzzle of German beer. Wunderbar. Before I start preparing the Klopse, Klops is, yeah, what northern Germany say for a Knödel, but I would never say Königsberger Knödel. It's just not the way it's called. In that case, it's Klopse. This is a pot of beef broth, and I'm gonna spice that up with a couple of bay leaves. There is cloves, there is allspice berries, and a couple of peppercorns. Now I'm gonna put that on the stove behind me to keep it warm. We need that broth later because these meatballs, they are not fried in a pan, they are actually cooked in the broth. Next thing I start is preparing the onions, and I chop them in really little pieces. Yeah. And talking about Königsberg, I earlier said it's in northeast German, but actually that part belongs to Poland in the meantime due to a couple of unfortunate wars. But when the recipe was made, it was German, the name is German, so let's keep it that way. The onions are gonna be seared, and that I'm gonna need my stove for. See you in a minute. Here I got some tasty beef tallow. I'm gonna add the onions, and as usual, not too high temperature, just give them a little sear so they get, they sweat a little. While these guys are searing, I already start to prepare the roll, because next thing that's gonna happen is that I put the milk, that I kind of deglaze the onions with the milk, and then soak the bread roll in the milk, and for that it needs to be chopped. And while I'm preparing this, I have no idea what that kind of device is called in English. In German, it's a Häcksler. And yeah, just leave me a comment. Let me know what this is in English, so that next time I use it in a video, I won't be as lost as I'm now. And what some people do is they just break it in pieces like that, and kind of squish it and hope it dissolves in the meat. But for me, I found out that I don't like when there is still recognizable crumbs or chunks of roll in the dumplings. That's why I chop it with this chopper. There is quite a reluctant piece. Yeah, you've had your chance. Go away. These onions look good already. And we're ready to go. Here's the milk, that's about 100 milliliters. Good idea would be to turn off the stove when you do that. Oh, that looks like it can take a little more milk. Just that should be enough. Because with any kind of dumpling, what you don't want is that the dough, let's say, I don't know if it's the right word, the dough is too wet, because you want to have a cohesive structure so that the dumplings don't fall apart when you cook them. Okay, that's already it. I put that behind me to cool down a little. I remove the stove and go on preparing the meat. So first thing is the veal. The parsley is already chopped. The anchovies and the capers need to be chopped. You can do that by hand, but since I have that nameless device at hand already, I'm gonna do that in this device. This is, well, just a handful of anchovies. I think must be 7, 8 pieces. And these are 3 tablespoons of capers. And this is also something, you can chop them by hand, but again, if you don't want bigger chunks of stuff in the dumplings, yeah, that just works a little better. And talking about anchovies, not everybody's a big fan of anchovies. It is optional, but yeah, just between you and me, the main flavor of anchovies is salt anyway. So you can just forget them if you don't like them and just add a little more salt. Mustard. 2 eggs, a little bit of lemon zest, but yeah, that's something, be careful because the liquid in the capers is pretty sour already, so don't take too much lemon, just a little bit for freshness. Yeah, I got these gloves so I can work in the dark and still see my hands. Nonsense. You can see this is still pretty moist, but next thing I'm gonna add is the breadcrumbs. They have cooled down, hopefully. So here we go. Yeah, the texture's already getting better, like more sturdy, a little drier. If you want to adjust, and this is definitely necessary here, what you can do is just add a little panko. These are basically breadcrumbs. If you are insecure about the structure of the meat, what you can always do, and I recommend that, is just shape a little dumpling and make a test run in the broth. So here's my little crash test dumpling. Yeah, that's good. We can start. Now we're ready. The broth is just slightly simmering, perfect for boiling the Klopse. And if it comes to the Klopse, actually it's your own choice what size you take. You can, if you want, like make them the size of a tennis ball. For me, I think that's too big. So I choose something a little bigger than a golf ball. Looks fine for me. And when you roll the Klopse and it gets a bit sticky, just get your hands a little wet and the meat won't stick. I'll just finish these guys, put them in the pot, and see you in a couple of minutes. You can see these guys are floating at the surface, and usually with dumplings that is a sign that they're done. It should be, but in my earlier attempts I found out that it pays to just give them an extra 2 or 3 minutes, so they're really done. I will put these behind me to get those extra minutes, because we don't eat the Königsberger Klopse just like that. What makes this a special dish is also that special sauce you're gonna do for that, and I'm gonna start with the sauce already here. So these go behind me and I'll be back with a pan. For the sauce, I start with a classic roux. That means I melt some butter and then stir in the flour with a whisk, and then you start deglazing that. I start adding some wine, whisk the whole thing, and then I go on adding the broth. Since there is still the bay leaf and some other stuff, I'll just strain it, because I don't want that in the sauce. Now make sure to whisk that thoroughly, because you don't want things to clot. And just add as much broth that this is still pretty creamy, because this is not all you add. Later on you will be adding cream that gets the whole thing a bit more liquid. Yeah, that's still too thick. I'll take more broth. Yeah, good time to reduce the temperature. And yeah, I guess this is pretty good, because yeah, I'm gonna add cream. 150 grams roundabout. Yeah, we're getting closer. I'll just keep it a little too thick, because the next thing we're gonna add apart from the cream is the juice of half a lemon. And we just want it to be too thin. Yeah, that looks really good. This is the right time to believe in love. To add some more capers, because yeah, no Königsberger Klopse sauce without capers. It's just part of the game. Yeah, that's good. As usual, a little more salt, a little more pepper, and things are great. That is what we want. Great. I'll still have to wait a minute or two until the potatoes behind me are already cooked. So I'll just put the dumplings to the sauce. Wait for the potatoes to finish. Then I'll just put everything on a plate right away. And I'll see you when we start the tasting. For the Königsberger Klopse, Königsberger Klopse definitely is a potato thing. You don't eat that with pasta or oh, maybe rice could even work. But yeah, it's a potato thing. These are just plain potatoes cooked in salt water. And here they come. The Königsberger Klopse. And we've got a lot of sauce, so we are not being stingy with that. Little parsley on top makes it look nice and adds a little parsley flavor. Now that looks great, saucy, juicy. Oh, I love that. See, the dumpling is pretty solid, doesn't fall apart. Juicy, fluffy, and the sauce just adds, and this really is the special thing about the dish. It is the sour taste of the capers in the dumplings and as well in the sauce. This is something that maybe not everybody likes, but it's definitely worth to try it. I like it. I like things sour. Now let's try the sauce with the potatoes and some meat. Yeah, this is great. I want to finish eating this. I celebrate it. You can celebrate it. Celebrate German cuisine. Cheers on Königsberger Klopse. Wunderbar.